afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You know, we talk a lot about saving money. We're in kind of a strange economy situation thing going on right now, so I found a very good article, and this is from moneywise.com. moneywise.com. We're doing all kinds of ways trying to save money, but it's hard to do when the price of everything is going up. So these are some really good tips that I hadn't really thought about before. So let's go ahead and get started. Making big changes to save money, and it's all about habit, right? So making big changes to save money can be uncomfortable, even a little painful. I know it is, especially when you have kids and they've got to have stuff, you know. So even so, the process can help you learn more about how to spend, and what you truly value and what kind of slow changes you can make in the future just to build good habits. It's all about building habits. It all starts with learning where exactly is your money going. Once you start tracking how you're spending, stop and examine whether the things you need and value match what you're spending the most, whether it's worth it. If you're spending more than you expected on things that don't add value to your life, well, then cut them out. That's easy to do. And you've already cut everything you're able to cut, so why not shift your focus to increasing your income and putting that money directly into your savings goals. Now, the first step could be identifying how much money you want to save. So let's go on ahead and start talking about that. And the biggest thing is just tracking your spending. You know, when I started doing that, when I started tracking what I was spending more, you can even keep a little diary on what you're spending. You know, it's whatever helps you out by doing that. I found that was a huge help to me in the long run. The first step, again, is just looking back and looking how you spent money last month. Many banks and credit card companies, including Wells Fargo and Bank of America, offer tracking tools that it'll show you break down your expenses. That's what I like about online banking. I use Liberty Bank right here in Geraldine. They have other locations also in Alabama. And I really do like them. They're a small bank, but I'm going to have to tell you, they're right up on top of things. If you'll do your online banking, this is like every single morning I do this. I go ahead and check it out. And I found that when I do track like that, online every morning, it just kind of gives me a better grip, because it's easy to get that debit card and just swipe it. Or it's easy to use that credit card and just swipe it as well. But just kind of look back on what you spent last month. Now, if you have bank accounts and credit cards with multiple companies, then a service that aggregates everything is a better option. So, popular free services include Mint, Personal Capital, and Good Budget. So we'll be checking those out. Now, there are paid options like You Need a Budget, and you have unique features, but you're trying to save money fast. That's what we're talking about. Consider sticking to the free ones right now, okay? And again, those free options there are Mint, Personal Capital, and Good Budget. Now, if most of your income and expenses are paid in cash, you may have to do things the old-fashioned way, like with a notebook or a spreadsheet. Just try to sit down and write out what your actual bills are, and then what you want your budget to be on your expenses. You know, make sure you save all your receipts. That's a good way to back off just a little bit. If you'll save all your receipts, just for, say from 2 weeks, if you'll do that, and then you see those receipts sitting there and you're going, I think I may have spent too much money, and then you just start looking at those receipts, it's going to help you be a little more cautious. You know, instead of that shiny new widget that you would like to have, you'll think about it a little more often. Some people use cash or need help with discipline, refer to use the envelope method. This works. You grab an envelope for every category of expense in your budget and you stuff it with cash equal to the amount you want to spend. Now, if you plan to spend $40 on clothes this month, then a pair of $20 bills goes into the clothing envelope. Once that money's gone, that's it. Absolutely. That's a grand idea. I really like that. Okay, now let's talk about this one. Cut your expenses. Now that you have a clear picture of your expenses, you may already see opportunities for cutting them. And how ruthless you are will depend on how much money you need and save and how quickly you need it. Yeah, that really is. That's a good one right there. Okay, just cut your expenses. I'll tell you a few ways we've done it. We were just not watching television. And so we've saved somewhere close to $100 a month just by using the Roku stick. And you can find it right there, by the way, on the Amazon link. If you'll click that, you'll find Roku, R-O-K-U. You can also use Apple or Amazon Fire, but I'm really familiar with the Roku. And see, we watch Andy Griffith and stuff like that. It's not like we need the cable. I mean, the only thing I would really watch on cable is HGTV, and I found that on the Roku stick. So I mean, why pay for it? Now, you'll have to have an internet connection. But what you'll find is you're saving money. You buy this stick one time, and that's it. Now, there are some paid programs on there that you can get if you'd like to. But for the most part, we just don't watch that much television anyway. And so, leave Andy Griffith up to the free stuff. So, check out Roku. You'll like that. You can also find this show on Roku. You'll just click on there. And the little stick, by the time you get used to it, yeah, you got to have a smart television, and you'll just plug it into the TV. It comes with a remote control, and once you get the idea on how the stick works, then it's just an easy thing to use. So that's just one way we did it, and you can find other ways too. Another way we're saving money too is on groceries. A lot of people are spending a ton of money on their groceries, and we're not, because I've got a garden. And you'll find how simple it is to have a garden. It's really not that hard at all. Now, we use concrete blocks. We have raised gardens. I'm using water, hydroponics, and I'm starting my seeds up. By the way, that's another, a lot of folks have said, Donna, I don't have a garden because by the time I spend $5 for each plant, I don't feel like I'm saving anything. Really, you are. Think about this. Okay, bell peppers are how much a piece now in the grocery store? And if you ate a lot of bell peppers, you're looking at $1 a piece for a bell, and it'll probably go up to more than that this summer. Okay, so even if you do buy the plant and you don't have the seeds, going ahead and buy the plant, because you're going to have a lot more than, you'll have more than 5, I'm pretty sure. Unless you're just a terrible gardener. But if you buy the plant that's already there, you should be okay. And I'll tell you, bell peppers are one of the easiest things you can grow. Off of one plant, you can just have almost 100 of them off of one plant. You got to feed them. If you're having a drought, you got to make sure you water them. But that's small potatoes. Instead of paying $1 or more a piece for a bell pepper, get the plant for $5. But now I do like the hydroponic system. It really is saving me a lot of money with plants, because there was a time I'd buy all of my tomato plants. I don't do that anymore. I grow the seeds through hydroponics, and it has the biggest roots you've ever seen. I mean, it's just going to be a good plant. Then I'm going to put it in, one-time buy are the concrete blocks. And if you buy those, it will cost you some money, but you got them forever. You'll be able to use them year after year after year. So think about little things like that, because if you go and buy everything at the grocery store, everything, and you got to eat right. I mean, if you buy junk and stuff like that, it is cheaper, but eating right costs more in the grocery store. So much. Just try to have a garden. Just have a little garden with the kids, yeah, or for your own satisfaction. I don't have any little kids around here. It's just Phil and me, and my son and daughter-in-law live away, and so this is just something I like to do. I just love having a garden. Okay, let's talk about discretionary expenses. Those are most often the easiest to cut, but don't make yourself miserable unless you have to. Now, the primary goal is to save money fast, but the secondary goal should be to build a sustainable savings habit so that you never have to make sudden sacrifices in the future. Like what if, something happens? I mean, like our brakes went out on the car. You got to get that stuff fixed. And, thank God Phil knows how to do that. So Phil probably saved us a couple of $300 by fixing it himself, So, oh, and another thing is Phil and I found YouTube.com is one of our best friends when it comes to learning how to do things. Working with bees. We're beekeepers now. And so I found so many awesome sites on YouTube to help us, like what if they leave during the winter time? It's cold and they don't have, trees and stuff to, get into. They don't have, anything to eat. There's no pollen outside. You can build a little sugar block and put that in with the beehive, and you'll keep your bees all winter. Okay, let's see. Prioritize a few little treats that bring you joy, well worth their cost. So even if getting a $3 latte brings you more joy than spent $3 somewhere else, go ahead and get the latte. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm having a hard time spending that much money on coffee. Not when I can get my coffee grounds, and Phil always has it timed set for first thing in the morning. I don't know. I just have a hard time. If I'm out on a trip somewhere, I'll buy one. I'll buy a coffee. But I don't like spending $5 or $6 for it. I don't know what they are now. They probably went up $10 by now. But there are just some things that just, I don't know. Since I started the budget world and I'm learning how to save money, some little things to me are just not worth it. But they might be to you. So if they are to you, go on ahead and get it. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break. And we're going to be right back in just a couple of minutes with a few more awesome ways to save money.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community
Okay,
College.
we are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We are your source for news and entertainment. You know, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching. We definitely appreciate that. No, you could be doing anything else, but you're watching us right now. And by the way, if you would like for me to, if you have some topics you would like for me to discuss, you can send that to me. You're the boss of me. You tell me what to do. This is your show. So you can send an email, donna@icradio.media, or you can send a text my way, 256-659-4319. Okay, so we talked about discretionary expenses, and we were talking about coffee just a minute ago. If that $3 coffee makes you feel good, go ahead and get it. Just save $3 somewhere else. So let's see, but by getting a coffee every day, plus a breakfast sandwich, plus lunch at work, that's $20 a day. Very easy. I used to work with some folks who would do that. And I'd bring my lunch. Really didn't have time to eat lunch. I was always so busy throughout the day. I'd bring like some crackers or something, and then some water, bottled water. And so I wasn't spending near that money. So by the time their paychecks came, they were saying, my money just doesn't get anywhere. And I would say, well, you're spending a lot, on food. And so think about this. By getting a coffee every day, plus a breakfast sandwich, plus lunch at work, that's an easy $20 a day. I mean, that's easy. That amounts, if you work 5 days a week, that amounts to $100 a week, $400 a month. Now, luxuries should feel like luxuries. And if you enjoy every day, well then, if you're eating out every day, you're really not treating yourself, and you just have some expensive habits. Consider taking cheaper alternatives to the treats. Giving yourself, if you order takeout because you hate cooking, consider buying nicer ready-made meals at the grocery stores. You can do that. It can be pricey. Those can be pricey in their own right, but it prevents you from ordering off of DoorDash, which also you're having to pay for delivery, and you also have to pay a tip. See, so you got to think about those things as well. So there's some things I just I don't do. To Phil and me, eating out is a treat. So we eat out with our sponsors. We have some great sponsors, but it's a treat for us. We just don't eat out every day. Okay, fixed expenses. Let's talk about those. Slimming down. Let's talk about this. Slimming down your fixed expenses may be easier than you think. It just takes some research and a little willingness to shake things up. For example, if you're using T-Mobile for your cell phone plan, consider switching to their cheaper counterpart, Mint Mobile, which uses the very same network. And so what we do, we were paying, my goodness, it just kept climbing. We were using one of the major cell phone carriers, and we were getting pretty close to $200 a month for that. So I went to Cricket. You go to Cricket, and I'm paying half of what I was paying. They're using this very same network AT&T uses. And so the key was I had to be able to use it at my house because I've got to have internet service, especially when we have, with my shows, we're using the internet. And so my key was to make sure Cricket worked at my studio, and it does work at my studio. So I'm saving $100 a month doing that. I think that's pretty cool. Also, let's see, we talked about T-Mobile or a cell phone company. In the same way, shop around for your car and home insurance and see if you can find similar coverage for a better price. I'm about to start doing that right now. Different companies use different formulas to set up their rates. You can also call your insurance company and say, hey, look, I'm about to start shopping around. Can you save me some money? You can do that. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Okay, call the internet provider saying you're planning to switch and see if you can get a retention offer. You can do that also with your cell phone carrier. You can call them and tell them you're shopping around. and just see if they'll save you money. You do that on insurance, you can do that on just about everything. I wish you could do that on electricity. Can't do that. They got a hold on you. And if you're carrying a hefty balance on a credit card, consider signing up for a balance transfer card with a promotional 0% APR. You might pay a fee for the transfer, but you'll reprieve it from interest for a while. Make sure you're focusing on paying off as quickly as you can so you don't end up in the same place at the end or at the end of the promotional APR. And let's talk about that for a minute. Saving money. One of the biggest ways you can save money, and your financial person is not going to tell you this, but if you'll pay more for your house mortgage and for your car payment, you're going to wipe out some of that interest. You don't think about that, but it really does work. So I've used Brad and Larissa, my son and daughter-in-law, for an example a couple of times. I'm going to do it again. So what they did, they were paying extra on their house payment. And by the way, if you'll pay twice a month, you're tricking the system. And let me tell you how that works. Let's say your house payment is, say, I don't know, $1,000 a month. Let's make it easy to add. So let's say you're paying $1,000 a month. You want to pay, say, $500 on the first of the month and another $500 on the 15th of the month. And what you're going to wind up doing is tricking the system. You're going to wind up with an extra payment at the end of the year. That could save you thousands of dollars on interest in the long run. So what Brad and Larissa did, they almost doubled their payments. That's what they were doing. They had a goal set. They wanted to have their house paid off before their 10th wedding anniversary. And they started out on a 30-year loan. And this really worked. I was a little concerned when he said they were doing 30 years. I didn't say anything. I wasn't going to say anything unless they asked me. But they didn't ask, so I didn't put my input in there. So they said, we're going to do a 30-year loan on this house. I said, okay. And then they started making double payments. They had it paid off right before their 10th wedding anniversary and saved over $100,000 in interest. That's what it would have cost them had they paid exactly the same amount, or the amount that they were set up to pay for 30 years, over $100,000 in savings. And you can do the same thing, absolutely, and save some of that money for yourself. Now, your bank's not going to tell you that, but it is true. And also, there are some mortgage calculators. And just look up mortgage calculator, Google it, or whatever your search engine is. Just look up mortgage calculator, and you'll be able to put in that. They're going to ask you what your interest rate was, when you got your loan, whatever the interest loan was, whatever the amount is, and if you made a down payment, you'll need to put that in there as well. And then there'll be, I forgot the name of the one we use. I've got it saved. But anyway, just type in mortgage calculator. And then you'll be able to put, like, if you wanted to add an extra $100 per month. So let's just say your mortgage payment is $1,000 a month, and you wanted to make an extra $100 per month. You're going to cut off several years off of your mortgage by just $100. So scrimp and save, do without some lattes for a little while, and you'll save off several years and save several $1,000s also. Okay, let's talk about how you can increase your income. It's common to put all your effort into lowering your expenses without ever considering the other half of the equation, and that's bringing in more money. With inflation rising, increasing your income may be necessary to get ahead. So work overtime at your job if that's an option. Try to negotiate for a raise. You can't expect to get one if you don't ask. And guess what? Mr. and Miss Bossman is not going to just offer it to you. You've got to ask for it. If that doesn't work, look into picking up a side hustle that fits your schedule and your talents. Sell extra items in your home on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay. If you're not using them, they're just sitting there anyway, just taking up excess money. And you can also take that logic one step further. If you have a spare room in your home, consider furnishing it and listing it on the Airbnb, renting it to a travel nurse, or maybe even getting long-term roommate. You can always do that. Now, what are your spending habits? We have just a few minutes left on this. So when you know where your money is going, you can make a better financial decisions. With Rocket Money, get a breakdown of your spending to see exactly where your money is going. That's Rocket Money. You can Google that. Manage subscriptions, lower your bills, put your savings on autopilot. Managing money just got easier when you use that Rocket Money app. That is really, really awesome. Now, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Okay, negotiating for a raise. Don't be all scared. And let me tell you something else. When you're negotiating anything, he who speaks first loses. That's the way it goes. So let's just say you just had a baby, and your expenses are really increasing, because you got to get baby formula if you can find it, and it's went way up in price. If you're using diapers, versus washing your own diapers, if you're using the plastic ones, that's going to cost you extra money as well. So this is what you do. Set up an appointment. Don't do it on a hectic, busy day. Now, most people in business are really busy right now because of the lack of employees coming in and that kind of thing. So try to pick a time where your boss is not slammed. Okay, so because they're going to say no automatically, whatever you could say, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million. They'd say no because they're so busy. They're not listening to you. So pick a day or a time when they're not so busy. Just walk by and see it doesn't look like he's quite so busy right now, and say, can I spend 5 minutes with you? I just need to ask you a question. First of all, they may be sweating it. They may be thinking you're going to quit. And in today's employment climate, that's a freaky thing to think you've got a key employee who's about to leave. And don't be threatening or anything like that. You can be really nice about it and just say, I just wanted to talk to you about a raise because, and have a piece of paper with you. Write all of this down. Okay, they can see that you've put some thought into it. And that's going to be impressive as well. So you got your paper there, and you'll say, now this is what my expenses at home, and I've cut back every possible way that I can. I don't smoke anymore, so I'm not buying cigarettes. I don't buy the lattes anymore at Starbucks. But I'm still having a hard time making ends meet, and I don't want to go anywhere else to work. I want to stay here. That's how you talk to your boss. And then you can say something like, this is how much money I need. To be able to make it and not leave here, I need an extra, say, $100 a month. Just go ahead and just come up with a figure, and then show them the piece of paper where you came up with a figure, okay? And you're showing, and now I promise you it's going to work most of the time, and you're letting them see your budget. They're going to go, ooh, I want to keep them. Now, they may want to think about it, and then come back to you and talk to you later. And then you thank them for their time, and then you walk out of the room. And then I promise you, they're going to want to keep you, because here's what your boss is thinking. The boss is thinking, oh my goodness, that's a key employee. I want to keep them. I don't want them to go anywhere. You might got my competitor. They're a really good worker. They're going to come back to you, I promise. Now, if by some chance they're so busy they don't come back to you, knock on the door again and just ask them if they've had time to look over and do some research off of what you've asked as far as a raise. And they may say, oh yeah, sit down. Yes, I have. Because you got to think about this now. They're not bypassing you, okay? Bosses are busy right now. Sometimes they're doing the job of a couple of employees. So be very discreet, be very nice, and be very kind, okay? Don't ever come in slamming your hand on their desk. That won't work. So be very nice, very kind, and I'm going to say you'll probably get that raise, as long as you're not being outlandish about it. And extra $100 a month can really help out. That's $400 a week. It really is. Thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again pretty soon. Anything else you'd like for me to talk about, whatever topics, again, all you got to do is let me know. Send a text message to 256-659-4319. And you can also find me and send an email, Donna@icradio.media. You take care. I'll see you shortly.